Welcome to Drive 615. Let's go for a drive. My name is Byron, and is that a Ford Ranger? It absolutely is. This is the all-new 2024 Ford Raptor Ranger Super Crew 4x4. The exterior color is shelter green. I've had it for the past 2 weeks as a press loan from Ford, where I've been daily driving it, getting to know it inside and out. The total MSRP as tested is $59,045. As always, we'll take a look at the exterior, the interior, then we'll go out and take it for a drive. Let's go ahead and start up front and take a look there. We've got a pretty aggressive hood, actually up top on either side. There's little accents that actually aren't functional. They're just there for aesthetic purposes. This is a really unique color. It looks a little bit more greenish yellow in the sunlight. When you come over here in the shade, you get some more brown undertones, so very versatile. Personally, not my favorite color, but to each their own. If you take a look through here, there is functional airflow through the grille, even through all of the letters. As we work our way down here though, this is purely aesthetic, no airflow through there. You do get airflow to cool the vehicle on either side of this plastic piece. This is a steel frame mounted front bumper. Very, very, very solid. That's the best way to describe it. Really feels like you definitely will be safe and secure out on the road or off-roading for that matter. You get tow hooks in the front and the rear for the Raptor version. And then we got an exposed steel bash plate down here. So when you're off-roading, you can keep the undercarriage of the vehicle nice and safe. It's got a 33-degree angle of approach. And anchoring in this grille, it actually kind of integrates in here are these performance LED headlamps. You've got LED DRLs as well as LED fog lamps. Let's go ahead and take a look at the profile. You can get a feel for the size of this mid-size pickup truck. The wheelbase is 128.7 inches despite the trim or model, so all Rangers are gonna have that same length. The difference on this, it's got beefed up fender flares to kind of widen up the vehicle, which I think looks nice. I love the body color painted door handles, the body color painted mirror cap here. There's a decal right here, kind of a little design language feature. No function whatsoever. I tested it out. It's just simply aesthetics, but this same little kind of dimpled design, almost like a golf ball, is actually continued on the interior, so a nice little tie-in there. You've got the side steps with the Raptor logo right there. Personally, at my height, I did not need them. I was able to get in just fine, but it would be nice if you had anyone that was a little shorter, just needed some assistance getting in this vehicle. You've got the Raptor logo back here, which is nice, but it almost seems like it's starting to fade. This vehicle only has 4,000 miles, so perhaps something caused it to distort, but nevertheless, let's take a look at the wheels. That is everybody's favorite thing when they look at this truck. I took it to a car show, and everyone just could not stop looking at these wheels. They're absolutely incredible. It's one of the options you can get. These are 17-inch beadlock capable wheels. Beautiful. They're wrapped in 33-inch BF Goodrich all-terrain tires, which for all-terrain, they look surprisingly aggressive. They almost look like a mud terrain, but I feel like that really is what pops and sets this vehicle off. If it didn't have that, it just wouldn't have that off-road, aggressive, kind of meaty feel to it. But nevertheless, here it is. I think it looks all right. I think it'd be better if it had a leveling kit. You know, that would kind of even it out. Of course, trucks come from the factory with the back end hiked up, so when you put a payload in the rear of it, it will settle out. Just throw a leveling kit on it. I think that would look really, really good, and I think that would really just enhance the look even that much more. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rear. This little portion right here is where I feel like this truck really looks like its big brother, the Raptor. Pretty much every other part of it doesn't really look like a Raptor, but right here, it really does, especially this tailgate. You've got the Raptor badging right through here. You've got Ranger kind of embossed into the paint. You got rear tow hooks, which is an option. You get front and rear on the Raptor Ranger. You got the tow hook here. So it's actually got the least amount of towing capacity out of all the lineup. Everything else is at 7,500, and this is right at around 5,500. So you lose a little bit of the towing capability, but what you lose in that, you pick up in speed. We've got a dual exhaust. Let's take a listen to that. So that was with the exhaust in Baja mode, which they recommend for off-road use only. Sounds pretty good for turbo. You know, it's got a little bit of a kind of deep growl at times. It can sound like it's a little bit bogged down, but nevertheless, kind of cool. Let's go ahead and take a look in the bed. It's unique. They've got these red cables. I think that kind of gives a nice little pop. You've got a built-in ruler system back here that goes from 1 inch all the way up to 50 inches. You've got a spot here where you can put in a clamp if you're gonna cut wood or just kind of measure things back here. It's kind of built in for functionality. Now this is not level by any means, so if you truly wanted to make a good cut on a 4x4 or something like that, it might be a little bit off kilter, but it still allows for a little bit of practicality. Now the option that we have on this is $495 for the built-in bed liner. That's a pretty good deal. You get it from the factory. It's got Ford embossed back there. I feel like if you tried to do that aftermarket, it would cost a lot more, and you may as well just go ahead and get that. The power sliding rear window has been really nice. I've been kind of cruising around with that open because I didn't want to have my windows down, but I still wanted some nice fresh air and to hear the sound of the exhaust. One more call out, this badge back here is blacked out. I feel like that looks really nice as well. Typically, Ford is the blue oval, but in this particular spec, it's blacked out, so I feel like that's a nice little touch. Let's go ahead and take a look at the interior. Before we hop inside, I want to show you this 12-volt outlet we've got there, as well as a 120-volt plug, so perfect if you want to charge things up or if you're tailgating or something like that to have access to that charging. Let's go ahead and take a look inside. This truck is optioned with the keypad feature there, which can really come in handy sometimes, so definitely fun to see that. We have that on our 04 Ford F-150. You got the Ford Performance on the door sill, Raptor on the backs of the seat. I love the black and red two-tone combination. Just kind of nice little accents throughout. You got a little decal there of a truck that looks like it's kind of in the snow. I'm curious how they come up with what shows up. It's definitely not snowy, but it's getting a little bit colder here in Nashville. I love the logo on the bottom of the steering wheel. Always good to see that. I mean, this is valuable space. This is something you're looking at all the time, so I love seeing that. I love the red center marker, very, very sporty, with the cross stitching all the way around on the steering wheel as well. Just love to see it. Here is the kind of almost like a golf ball texture, like I mentioned on the outside. That's continued all the way around through there, as well as in the door trim. Kind of unique. You got a little storage shelf here where you could store things, perhaps. You've also got your wireless charging for your phone right there. Got a little bit of a kind of storage area over here. Got a USB and a USB-C down here as well. As we take a look inside the center console, you got this little sliding tray here that is removable as well. Not the biggest here. I mean, this is literally the size of my hand and the depth of it. I can fit a book in there and maybe some valuables. You've got a 12-volt plug in there as well. So would have liked to have seen that a little bit bigger, but again, we are in a mid-size pickup truck, so not a ton of room. All right, foot on the brake, push to start. The start-stop button is over here mounted to the steering column. I have a bone to pick with this. I had so much trouble trying to get it. I mean, it's pretty simple. It's just go back into drive. But sometimes if I go into reverse, the difference between reverse and park is just one little bit forward. So I would be, going into drive, about to reverse it up, and I end up putting it into park, So I think it would take some time to get used to. I mean, I had a week and a half with it and still couldn't necessarily get used to it, but that's just one little ergonomic feature that I'm not the biggest fan of. To put it into manual, you actually press this little button right over here on the side, which I find myself sometimes, accidentally clicking potentially if I was moving it forward. It's right there where your thumb is, so you think that's what you would do to engage and move it forward, but of course the engaging button is up there on the top. Love the paddle shifters mounted to the steering wheel. Especially love that little cutout there as well. They have a really nice feel to them. Very solid, very hardy. Definitely have enjoyed that. This was nice, but it felt so narrow. It just felt really squeezed. You know, it's right in between these two air vents and nice and tall, but I don't know, something about it just didn't feel as wide as I would like. I know we are constrained by some size with this vehicle, but I mean, again, there's my hand. I have pretty big hands, but I felt like it would just, I don't know, I felt like I was really just using like a big phone almost. It was responsive, you know, going between the different, you know, features on here, radio, you got your towing options. One thing that was kind of cool here actually is the sketch. So as long as you're parked, you can kind of draw around on here and, you know, do whatever. So kind of cool. I didn't use that a whole lot. Through here is how you can change between your different drive modes. So you simply twist that. Didn't have a very sturdy feel to it, if I'm being totally honest. It kind of felt like almost like screwing off the cap of a drink or something like that. So I didn't feel like it was gonna pop off or anything like that, but it didn't feel super hardy. And here's how you can change between the different differentials, 4-wheel drive or 2-wheel drive. You've got a 12-inch display screen right there. Didn't do much with it at all. I think you can kind of customize a few things. If you press R there, you can make it your mode, so you can have a different steering feel, you can have a different suspension feel, different exhaust sounds. So it's nice, it's digital, but not a whole lot of customization going on in there. So I really spent a lot of my time on this one, or just press this button right here and told it a command and told it, you know, go to a certain radio station, or just kind of ask it certain questions. You can ask it certain things about the car and it'll tell you.
How can I help you? You can ask me to make a phone call, find a place, or play music.
You can also ask it what is the like check engine light or warning light that you might have in the vehicle, so it kind of can help you diagnose things like that. One cool thing is if you press that button there, you can get all the different views. It's basically your off-road button, so you can see PSIs of your tires there. Of course, you got trail control where you can enable that. You can lock the differentials depending on front or rear, and then you've got different views here, 360-degree view of the vehicle, so you can see everything you need to see whenever you're out on the trails or towing. In this case, that'd be really nice to line up your tow hitch there. So 6'5", this is how far back I had the seat, but I'm gonna sit on the passenger side so you can see what it would look like if a not as tall person was sitting and you were sitting behind them. A little bit cramped. I mean, I could probably move this one up a bit more and maybe gain a little bit more leg room, but I'm actually surprised that I'm pretty good on the headroom. Sometimes I feel a little bit, you know, I might be good on leg room, but I'm cramped on headroom, and surprisingly I feel fairly good with that. Not a whole lot to talk about back here. You got a little kind of storage cubby here. It's not too deep. I mean, about half of my hand. You got your 120 volt here. And you got the same setup as up front with the USB and a USB-C. And here, just two simple cup holders. But I do like the nice continuation of the trim throughout the stitching, as well as the red accents that you see here. Let's go ahead and take it for a drive. Behind the wheel and on the road in the Ranger Raptor. Now, over the last couple weeks of testing this, I didn't tow anything with it, didn't haul anything with it. You know, I did put one tire to my Trans Am in the back of it, and of course it's gonna handle a tire no problem, but the majority of the time I spent in this was just kind of daily driving it, seeing what it'd be like out on the roads, you know, because yes, it is an off-road vehicle, but you're not going to use it to off-road all the time. Vast majority of the time, I'd imagine, you know, off-road on the weekends, but you're daily driving it, and it handles that fantastically. It feels very nimble on the road. It is absolutely fast. It's incredibly fast. It's got a 3-liter EcoBoost V6 engine producing 405 horsepower and 430 pound-foot of torque. I mean, it is mind-blowingly fast considering, you know, how heavy this is of a vehicle, that it moves just so quick, and the sound of it's incredible too. With you get that little bit of turbo blow off from the front. Of course, we're gonna get into it here in a little bit and start driving a little bit faster, but just kind of as we cruise around town, you're really reminded that just, you don't feel like you're in a truck sometimes. That's how smooth and comfortable it is, and practical too. Of course, you can, you know, fit 5 people in it and haul your groceries around, drive to work, and then on the weekend, this thing turns into an off-road monster. You know, it's got a whole bunch of different things that are make it that much more capable of off-roading. It's got a full-time 4x4 drive system that's electronically controlled on demand with a 2-speed transfer case and front and rear locking differentials. As you saw, you can click between the different modes, and also changing between the different drive modes will automatically change that as well. So we're actually gonna put it over into the sport mode. You've got rock crawl, you've got Baja, normal, but we're gonna put it into sport. I'm actually gonna pop over the exhaust. I'm actually gonna put that in Baja just for now so you can hear it, but typically that's off-road use only. It even gave me the warning there. And we are gonna give it a little speed here off the line, and chances are tires are gonna spin a little bit too because it puts it into 2-wheel high. Pretty big truck just pulled up beside me. It's a Ram 1500, and I'm sitting up actually higher than he is. He's looking over at me, I'm looking over at him, he's checking out the truck. This was very, very popular. I'll talk about that real fast before we go, you know, cruising around. People loved it. People really liked it. Not many people actually said anything about it, but you could tell people were, you know, checking it out, taking pictures of it at the car show, just really intrigued by the wheels. Here we go. Got a little bit of tire spin there. Nice. It takes a second. It takes a little bit for that turbo to spool up, but once it's kind of in the right power band. Oh, and then the best sound is just releasing off the gas and hearing that little whew noise from the turbo. It's pretty loud, surprisingly. Even just little blips of the gas there, you can hear it. Too fun. I'm gonna switch the exhaust back into sport mode. You can also do quiet mode too, actually. Maybe I'll do that for a little bit. It's not perfectly quiet, but it's certainly more quiet than the other modes. I guess it kind of baffles it a bit. But I am truly impressed with the speed. Never, you know, rare that you have a pickup truck where you want to do paddle shifts, but I feel like doing it in this. Now, I didn't take it off any jumps or anything like that, but it's got the suspension system to handle it, of course. You got a forged aluminum double A-arm suspension with 2.5-inch Fox live valve springs, and you've got a Watts Link rear suspension with trailing arms and a 2.5-inch Fox live valve system as well. I mean, I popped over curbs and whatnot, just kind of playing around in the parking lot. I feel like it can certainly handle any jump that you would throw at it, and maybe not like a 30-foot kicker, but definitely some nice little tabletops or just kind of anything at your everyday trail that you would want to, you know, go off-roading on. It should be able to handle it, no issue at all. 4-wheel disc brakes. I'm gonna do another little launch off the line here. I'll give a little brake boost on that one. Oh, it's crazy, crazy, crazy just how quick it is. I mean, 400 horsepower, what do you expect? Now again, it's pretty heavy, but, and this 10-speed automatic transmission is really nice. So I'm actually gonna pop it over into manual mode, as you saw earlier, and I'll utilize the paddle shifters. Oh, that's just too cool. I mean, I love the turbo blow off noise, and it's kind of cool hearing it come out of a truck. Super, super smooth in the straights. Does feel a little bit floaty in the corners, but again, that would be, you know, pretty good for off-roading. But as regular street driving, you know, I completely broke loose there. Again, I am in sport mode, but again, it's awesome. I wish I had had more time to go off-roading in it and just, you know, put it through its paces there, but there's definitely videos out on the internet if you want to see someone specifically off-roading it. But from a daily driving perspective, highly practical, And for the money, it's pretty good size, you know? It's kind of that nice happy medium in between, say, the Maverick and then a full-size F-150. When you're in sport mode, if you floor it, I'm gonna kind of turn out here, it will break loose. I was drifting just then. Oh man, it's a fun truck. I think it's pretty cool. It's like it's got almost everything all in one. This is kind of like the perfect little package. I wish it, you know, I personally, if I was gonna get something, I'd want to get the full-size Raptor, probably get the Raptor R. But you know, if someone doesn't need a full-size pickup truck, they want speed, they want practicality, and they want the ability to go off-road, here you go. 59 grand, you got it all in one. This could really be your true daily driver that you go out and have fun on the weekend, you zip around town, and you drive to work and carry your family and groceries around. Like, it's just really, it's kind of just dawned on me how perfect it really could be. Because with a lot of different other things, you may have speed and practicality, but you can't take it off-road, or vice versa. You have off-road and speed, but no practicality. This is everything all in one, and you can tow things. And everyone needs a pickup truck, I feel like. I feel like, you know, if you own a house, pickup truck's this kind of thing. At least with my family, we've always had a truck for whatever it may be. Lawn work, taking stuff to the dump, picking up a TV, whatever it is, having a truck in your kind of fleet of cars is nice and practical and fun. And if you have one that's fast, I can't get over how dang fast it is. One interesting thing with this truck, you know, it sounds fast, you feel like you're going fast, but you look down at the speedometer and you're like, oh, I'm only going 45 miles an hour. You know, in other cars, it's the exact opposite feeling. You don't feel like you're going that fast, you look down and you're going 70, 80. This one, it's a lot of and not a whole lot of speed. It's kind of a weird concept, but that's probably good, especially for me. Keep me out of trouble, keep me from getting tickets, because I definitely have a lead foot when it comes to driving. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I just saw the big brother drive by, full-size Raptor. I had my window down, he had his window down, but he totally ignored me. I don't know, I wonder what the vibe is of Raptor owners if they don't consider this a real Raptor just because it's smaller. I don't know. I thought maybe he'd give me some props. These are kind of rare around town. Not many people, I've only seen like one or two. This is a unique color, so anyway, I had fun with it. I enjoyed it, but leave a comment, leave a like, ask me anything you want about it. I'd be happy to answer your questions, and be sure to subscribe so you can see all my latest car reviews and truck reviews, and we'll see you in the next one.